Hello, Blind Tech World listeners. It's Evan, back with another video. I do realize it's been like a while since I've made one of these, so I've decided to start that up again. Anyway, I've decided to film a rather interesting video tonight. So tonight we're going to be looking at this rather interesting little device in front of me. And for those who can see, it's kind of this interesting looking device. So speaking of seeing, by the way, for those few sightlings out there watching our video, or watching my video right now, if the video is sideways, I do deeply apologize for that. The reason I did do it is so we could have better audio, because I really wanted the stereo, and if it's in portrait, you don't get that good stereo. So if this thing didn't flip the video sideways, that's not my fault. This is Blind Tech World, not, Sightling Tech World, so whatever. Anyway, I've talked about that for too long. We're going to be looking at this device in front of me, and it is called the Zounds, made by this company called Zizzle, which unfortunately has gone well out of business. They've been out of business for years now. But it's a toy, and it is a toy designed for making music, actually. So, basically what this is it's a toy with these little spots on it, and you have several pieces, different little objects that you place on this toy, and each of those objects will play from 3 different loops per piece, if that makes any sense. So yeah, each one of these, there are 7 pieces that come with it, have 3 different individual sound loops that will play over and over, and what you can do is, since there are 3 spots, you can mix them all together and make your own little beats out of it. And there's more to it, but that's the basics of what this actual device is. So let's start with a physical description of this device. So the thing is almost heart-shaped, almost. It looks like a heart. Got some kind of interesting little curves on the sides, but it is pretty much a heart shape. So on the top panel of this device is all flat, and it has 4 little corners, and 3 out of the 4 corners are the little spots for putting the pieces on, and these spots light up so you can actually see where to put the pieces if you have sight. And so yeah, those light up, and then the last corner actually has some controls on it. It has a couple of arrow buttons, 2 arrow buttons, and a mode button. So those arrows, you can actually adjust the volume, the tempo, the echo, the reverb of your loops and stuff like that. And then moving on to the sides, on the right side, with it facing the correct way, of course, with the volume buttons on the bottom left. On the right side, you have 2 physical hard buttons, which are oval shaped pretty much, and the one closest to me is the power sleep button. So pushing this button once when the toy is turned off will turn it on. Pressing it while the toy is on will allow you to cycle through sleep timers if you really kind of want that feature. And then pressing and holding it will turn the unit off. And then the button next to it is for the clock functions. So this unit actually can function as a talking alarm clock, which is cool, and I'll get into more detail on that later. But basically you can set your own sound loops as an alarm, which is really, really cool. So yeah, that's what that button does. So I'll show you how to use that later. And then the back side, you have a couple ports. You have the right port. Actually, you have no idea what it is. It kind of looks like something you used to plug it into a wall outlet, but I'm not sure about that, and I don't know if it has a label. And the left one is a line-in port, so it's a 3.5 millimeter, and you can plug an aux cord into it and plug it into your phone and like listen to music through it, through the little speaker on it. But the cool part about that is once you have something, a line-in cable plugged into it, you can actually use the little mode button and the volume control on the top that I covered a couple minutes ago, and you can actually not only, of course, adjust the volume, but you can actually add like echo or reverb to your line in, and you can actually add some pretty cool sounding effects to it. So pretty cool. The left side has nothing, and same with the like side facing me. The back side, there's, flipping it over here, there's a little speaker here. There's a little, a little tiny speaker, and then 4 non-skid pads, which are kind of raised up to keep it from sliding around on the surface that you place it on, and then a battery cover. And this thing takes 3 AA's. Got some warnings there to tell you what and what not to do with the batteries. And so that's pretty much the basics. And let's actually like get to turning the unit on rather than just talking about it. So I'm gonna go and turn it on, and I will show you the pieces that it comes with and give descriptions of those. So push the power button, and it'll give this kind of cool little intro. Now you might hear a slight buzzing. I have no idea why it does that. All zounds actually do that. I think it's probably either the lights that it uses or the sensors that it used to pick up the pieces and detect which ones you're placing. So I'm going to turn the volume down, and the mode is set to volume by default, so if you hit the up or down arrows, which unfortunately you cannot feel, you'll just have to memorize where those are at. But when you adjust anything, it'll make that little clicking sound. And then if you want to change the mode, you just push the mode button once. Tempo. And it'll announce what you're changing. Echo, reverb. Echo and reverb are almost the same thing. They kind of work hand in hand with each other, and I'll show you what that does later. Volume. So we're going to go back to volume. Now let's get to the pieces. So, like I said before, each piece has 3 different sounds that it can play. And since you can have 3 pieces on the unit at the same time, you can make quite a lot of cool different combinations. So we're going to just pick one out of random and start in no particular order with this first piece, which is a very interesting looking piece. It's kind of spiky looking. It almost looks like a pine cone, to be honest. It's got these interesting little spikes, and it contains drum loops. So I'm going to show you those 3 drum loops really quickly. So if we just place it on any one of these spots, it immediately starts playing. So here's one of them. There's the second. And there's the third, kind of a funny one. So that's that piece. This next one is a cone shape. And so it's a perfect little rubber cone. And so this kind of has some really weird, creepy sounding synth sounds on it. So those are the 3 that it has. I don't really use that piece too often. I should mention, if you want these pieces to properly work, place them flat side, place them on the unit with that flat side facing down, because that's the piece, that's how it recognizes the piece you're putting on it. This next one is kind of an interesting one. It's round with like a kind of almost domed top, and it's shaped like, it looks like a trash can, actually, a little trash can, and it has some bass in it, like some bass loops in it. So it's not much of a bass one though, but this one is. Turn the volume up a little. There's the third one there. By the way, I should mention this is the default tempo, echo, and reverb that will be set at when you turn the thing on. So when you power it off and turn it back on, it resets all of those to the defaults. This next one's one of my more favorite. It's like a little fuzzy ball almost, and pretty small little piece, and it has some interesting little loops. Second one here. And then this third one. Pretty cool. So take that off. 3 more to go. This 4th piece is, or no, that's the 4th. This is the 5th. Oh my goodness. This next piece is a very interesting shaped piece. So it's kind of rounded at the bottom, and it looks almost like a cone, except for when you get to the top, it's like a bulb shape. So not exactly sure how to describe the shape, like what it looks like, but I mean, you get my description. So This has some pretty interesting little sounds on it. Kind of some just random miscellaneous ones. That's the first one. This is one of my favorites, and also my girlfriend's favorite. And then this one here. This one has a, this is my favorite piece because it has quite a lot of loops on it, so. So yeah, there's that one. Sorry this is taking so long. I just really do want to be in depth with this. So this next piece is very interesting. It's got a lot of like strings on it, or string loops on it, and it's pretty skinny. It looks like a birthday party candle actually, to describe it. So we'll place it on here and I'll show you these. So you got that one, second one here. That one's actually really cool. Third one here. So yeah, there's that. Now this second one, or this seventh one, I cannot demonstrate right. I'll demonstrate it now. Why not? This seventh one here is a box shape. It's a perfect square box, and I've placed it on here. That sound goes away, but there's just nothing. In fact, I will show you what this is right now. So I'm going to hold the volume up and the mode buttons down at the same time, and it's going to say begin, and you guys are probably beginning to guess what this thing is.
Begin.
I like rice, derp, blind tech world. I don't know.
I like rice, derp, blind tech world.
Yep, this thing has a voice recorder function, so you can make your own little recorded loops on here, and of course you can add effects to them. Whatever effect you want, tempo, echo, reverb, which is really cool. So you can mix that in. It's honestly kind of one of the more interesting features of this. So this does have a microphone on it. I'm going to save the clock part for the last bit of this video, because I'm sure a lot of y'all want to actually see me make something on here. So let's just do that. I'm going to pick some pieces, and I'm going to pick what I think goes together and make something really cool, and I'll show you some of the effects you can add to it, to these loops. So let's start out with a drum piece. Let's see. I like that drum, actually. It's like a good drum loop. Now let's do our bass. So I'm going to grab the one that looks like a trash can. And I should mention, when you slide these around, they will kind of, when you slide the pieces around the little spots, they kind of alternate, if that makes any sense. It's a little hard to explain. Okay, so I like this loop. So that one's pretty cool. Now we're going to grab the piece with the bulb on it. And I'm going to try and, I might have to do some swapping around to get what I want. So, to get, make it sound the way I want. But let's see. We're going to put this piece on the third and final spot. Nope, that's not what I want to do. So what we're going to have to do in order to get these to sound right is you're going to have to, like, slide them around the little spots. So we're going to slide it back and forth here. So I just slid it 3 times, so now it's on the upper right spot. Now I have to do that with the drum loop, so. Okay, now we're back on this one, and now let's try and put this on the top left corner now and see how it sounds. This is what I wanted here. So now I've made a loop. So it sounds pretty cool, but it would be even cooler if we added some effects to it. So I'm gonna hit that mode button that I covered. Now this is the speed, so it does more than just adjust the tempo. So if I hit the up and down keys, that's up. Now when you've reached the max, that means you can't adjust it anymore. So we're gonna lower it because it's getting annoying. So you can go up an octave and down an octave, which is pretty cool. So this is the lower octave here, right there. pretty interesting. Now, I'm going to go back to normal. Now we'll go to echo. So this is what it sounds like. I'm going to turn this up a little so you can hear what it sounds like. It's pretty intense sounding. So I'm going to leave that on. I don't know if you guys can hear that echo, but I'm going to switch it to reverb now. Now, when I had mentioned that echo and reverb work hand in hand, what echo does is echo is kind of, you know, how much echo you want, and reverb actually adjusts the speed of the echo. So if I turn this up, turn that up, so notice the echo is a little slower, and it sounds pretty cool now. It does something cool with the drums. So I'm going to turn that down so you can hear what it sounds like. It's kind of making it clip a little. There, that sounds pretty cool. And this is the lowest. Kind of has like a robot effect to it. And in fact, to emphasize that, I'll turn the echo up a little bit here. So we're back to volume. So that's kind of what effect it gives it. So pretty cool, honestly. Now, let's say I wanted to add that voice loop on it. We're gonna have to remove one of these pieces, and I'm gonna remove the bass. So I pulled the bass part off, and notice it's gone. If I put it back, it comes back, which is pretty cool. Let me turn the volume down just a tiny bit. So that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna remove that. I'm gonna grab the box, which has the voice recording on it, and I should mention it doesn't store the sound file. The sound files are not stored on the pieces, they're stored on the unit. It just has little patterns on the bottom that it recognizes. So watch. Pretty quiet microphone. Let's make a better recording here. If I can get the buttons here. Oop, hold up. Derp! I honestly don't know what to say. That's kind of pathetic. Yeah, kind of not the best microphone. In fact, just so you can hear it, I'm going to pull these other two pieces off here. So now it's just looping continuously. Now when the pieces are on, it'll actually loop in rhythm with the loops that you've placed on it. So let's add some effects. Just mess with this for a minute. You can actually hear that humming sound in the recordings. It sounds really weird. It's change.
Reverb. I don't know what to say. It's kind of pathetic. I honestly don't know what to say. It's kind of pathetic. I honestly don't know what to say. It's kind of pathetic.
Echo. The echo is, you can make it sound pretty bad. Yeah, you can make it sound pretty creepy.
I honestly don't know what to say. It's kind of pathetic. I honestly don't know what to say.
So yeah, it's something that you can do. I should show something else that's kind of cool. You can actually make some, if you really want to make dubstep on this, for those who are curious, you can make some what sounds like dubstep. So in order to do that, I'm going to take this drum piece here and switch the loop on it by sliding it to a different spot. I'm going to use that, and then we're going to grab the cone, which I don't use too much, and we'll actually use it. Sorry, I have to turn it down. We want this one right here. Now we can add whatever, but I'm gonna just show you the dubstep part. So in order to make this sound truly like dubstep, or something like it, I'm gonna slow that tempo down here to here. Not exactly dubstep, but it sounds cool enough. Let's add another piece to it. Let's add something I didn't use. Let's add the party candle to it, if I don't knock these other ones off. That doesn't sound too good. Let's try... Let's see what else I could try. How about the fluff ball? Yeah, you can barely hear that one. Let's try this one. You can kind of hear that. Kind of quiet, though. Let's add the dorky voice loop to it. How about that? See, it's kind of quieter because, or it's lower pitched now because of the fact that I lowered the tempo. Take that piece off here. Here's the fluff ball again. Let's try a different loop. Have to get that drum loop back here. That doesn't sound too good together. There we go. So yeah, pretty interesting. You can make, I mean, I could spend hours literally just making combinations of sounds with this thing. So it's a very capable little toy. So I'm going to take all of these pieces off now, and it's going to make that hum. Except you cannot hear it. I'm going to turn that up so you can hear it. Oh, wait a minute here. That little sound I mentioned that this sound here. Let me turn that up here so you can hear it. This one. The one that plays when you have nothing on it. It will actually, like, also kind of be, it's also a good gauge so you can hear what effects you have. So if I turn the tempo up on here, that sound gets higher like this. So, you know, kind of a cool gauge before you put any of your loops on to see what your settings are at. So now let's go over the clock feature, because I mean, for those who actually want to see it, I think it's pretty cool. So let's start with like actually getting the time announced. So if you want it to tell you the time, which by the way is not accurate right now, hold your finger down on the mode button, and it'll actually, when the unit is on, it'll tell you what the time is.
Echo, reverb.
If I hold it down right.
12:20 volume.
Oh, come on, dude.
12:24 a.m.
A little finicky, as you guys can probably tell, but it works that way. Now, if you want to set any of those, any of the time or alarm features, you got to press and hold that second button, the one on the side next to the power button, down, and it'll get you into the clock set and alarm set modes.
Clock set 12:25 a.m.
So now you're in the clock settings. So you can use the up and down arrows to cycle through the minute and hour.
1.
And by default you're on the hour.
12.
And when you let
11,
let it sit for a minute, it'll actually announce what you're setting, what it's set at.
12:25 a.m.
Like that. I'm gonna hit the mode button.
Minutes.
So we can actually set it. We'll set it to 12:30.
20, 30.
And then
12 chime off.
So you can actually have an hourly chime, which is kind of cool.
Tone.
So the tone, it'll kind of make this interesting little twang. I'll show you what that sounds like if you guys are really curious, let me know down in the comments and I'll make a video demoing that. I'll also demo the line in. But you can have that, or you can have it
Voice.
and so it'll actually voice the hour. So it just depends on if you really want it to do that.
Tone off.
For those who are curious, if you want to toggle between AM and PM, you have to go through the hours like this.
11:30 p.m. 12:1.
So now I'm in AM.
2:30 a.m. 1:12.
So yeah, that's how that works.
12:30 a.m.
So when you hit this button again,
12:30 a.m. Alarm set 12 a.m.
so you hear that beep. That means that you've set the time successfully. So now we're on the alarm setting. So I'm gonna set an alarm for you guys.
Minutes.
We'll set it for
0:03
go.
0:06 07, 08, 09,
It's gonna take a
10,
minute.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18,
I'll set one for 12 to
19,
35 here.
20, 20, 20, 20,
There's something really cool I did
20,
want to show you.
20, 8, 20, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 35,
And then
12, 35 a.m.
you don't have any further options.
Hours.
So hit the the clock button again.
Alarm on 12:35 a.m.
It'll kick you right out, and you'll be right back into the main mode. Now, to turn your alarm on and off, you just press the clock button.
Alarm off. Alarm on 12:35 a.m.
And you can actually do that if the device is off, but you can't get the time when it's off. So now let's make an alarm, and we'll make something that loops. That'll be kind of cool. So I'm gonna use this voice recorder piece in here.
I honestly don't know what to say. It's kind of pathetic.
Begin.
Hey, you freaking pack of lazy bones, get out of bed, you stupid idiot.
Hey, you freaking pack of
Let's make
lazy
some
bones, get out of bed, you
less
stupid
insulting here.
idiot. Hey, you freaking pack.
Begin.
Hey, lazy, get out of bed, or else you're gonna be late.
Hey, lazy, get out of bed, or else you're gonna be late.
Is that a...
Hey, lazy, get out of bed, or else you're gonna be late. Hey, lazy, get out of bed, or else you're gonna be late.
I'm just trying to find something that goes together nicely. Actually, that works. It's gonna sound very dorky, but I mean, this is supposed to get you up in the morning, so turn it down just a bit. So that'll work. Oopsies. Piece just fell. We're gonna put that recorder piece on here.
Hey, lazy, get out of bed, or else you're gonna be late.
Now, you're probably thinking that you're gonna have to leave the pieces on overnight for these to work, but you're actually wrong. So, in order for this to actually work and for your alarm to, sound correctly in the morning, what you need to do is actually press both of the the power and clock buttons at the same time.
Wake up sound set.
So it just said wake up sound set if you didn't hear that. And so it actually means that it will it'll go off, but you won't have to have the pieces on for it to go off. So it actually presets all of the loops that you want, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna check the time on here really quick, and we'll see when it's gonna go off.
12:33 a.m.
I'm gonna jump it a little bit here so we don't have to wait.
Clock set 12:33 a.m. Minutes 34.
There you go.
12:34 a.m.
I'm gonna turn it off now. So to turn it off, hold the power button down,
Goodbye.
and we're gonna wait for this alarm to go off.
Alarm on 12:35 a.m.
Now, just to prove that this worked, I'm gonna pull these pieces off. Now, it shouldn't be very long now, and so when the alarm goes off, the lights will come on, and it'll gradually start to fade in. Now, I would pause the video, but honestly, it shouldn't take that long. Just wait here. So I will say this is a very interesting little toy, though. I mean, oh, here we go. And this is gonna go to full volume. Watch. Now, if you want to turn the alarm off, you hit the power button, but if you want to snooze it, you can hit one of the top buttons. Or you can wait 1 minute and it'll actually turn off and snooze for 10 minutes. Kind of cool, so I'm going to turn it off now.
12:35 a.m. Goodbye.
And it just powers off. Some may argue that voice sounds like a little creepy. Yeah, it's kind of creepy, I guess. But yeah, that's basically the zounds. Now, like I said, if you guys really do want me to show you what the hourly chime sounds like, and how the line in works, please let me know in the comments, and I will be more than happy to demonstrate that. I should mention a couple of other details. You can pick these up on eBay, but it's really, I found it a little difficult, at least when I did a search, to find working ones. Some of them, the pads might be broken on them, or the spots as I call them, or I don't know. Just, if you really want one of these, I mean, look on eBay. That's your best, it's your just the best, oh my gosh. That's the best way to find these. So, for those who actually do care, and by the way, Catherine, if you're watching, this was given to me a year ago by my girlfriend, Catherine. She asked me to make a video of this, and yeah, like almost a year later, I'm making a video of it. So that's great, finally. So, this is, yeah, a pretty cool little toy. Like I said, I could spend hours just, screwing around with this thing and making all sorts of different combinations and loops and stuff. And I will say I have done that before. Don't really use the alarm clock on it much. And for those who might be wondering, no, this does not have a display screen on it. So it's all driven by voice, which is cool, especially if you're blind. And no, this, as far as I know, does not have any line out on it. So you're stuck with either the built-in speaker, or you can, if you're stupid enough, or if you're, brave enough, you can take the thing apart and actually add your own line out. I'm not going to do that. But, if you really wanted to, you could. Microphone on it, as mentioned, it's not that good. It's okay. It's good enough for what it is. And like I said, you can, use it as an alarm clock, and it's pretty usable. And I did mention that there was a sleep timer on here. I'll show you that really quick. We'll turn it back on here. So if you push the power button while it's powered on,
Sleep on 15 minutes. Sleep on
30,
sleep on
45.
Sleep on 60 minutes. Sleep off.
So I guess you could use this to, I don't know, meditate or fall asleep to. I don't know why I'd want to do that, but I mean, you could do that technically. I'm going to turn it back off now. So, pretty interesting. I mean, that's pretty much all I have to show. Thanks y'all for watching this video. Hope it turned out well. For the sighted people, I do apologize if the video did turn out sideways. Hope at least the audio was good. And thanks for watching. I know I say this in almost every video that I make. I'm gonna try and upload more often if I can get around to that. Excuse, here's a big excuse. I've been really busy with school lately, so I haven't really been able to just get around to sitting down and making a video. Anyway, really, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys found it interesting, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.